Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Mindspeak. If I can just quickly give you a bit of background, it was about 5 years ago that a fellow called Mohammed Suleiman persuaded me to start up Mindspeak. I think our first audience was about 40 people, and we started in the cinema at Junction Mall. The philosophy behind it was in part derived from Rumi. I'd visited Konya in Turkey, and as I entered the Mevlana's tomb, the following was inscribed at the entrance. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times. Come, yet again, come, come. And I'd like to think that we are an inclusive forum and that we represent entrepreneurs, young students, CEOs, a number of ambassadors, and it really is a privilege to have you all here. That timeless message of inclusion intoxicated me that evening in Konya, and I like to think that Rumi has proven a magic ingredient. In the late 1990s, just before the turn of the century, when the internet bloomed for the first time and the NASDAQ boomed, as it is beginning to again, I had visited San Francisco and been to a Guy Kawasaki Garage.com conference. And one of his rules was eat like a hummingbird and poop like an elephant. And that was the second theme. And it took me a long time to work out exactly what he meant, and I'll leave you to mull it over for a little while. The mood in San Francisco was practically evangelical that day, a can-do spirit, and I wanted to replicate that, like I believe we've replicated it here today.
I came to the country in June 2000 and we didn't have any offices. We rented a flat in Norfolk Towers. There was all of us in this office. There were 5 of us from Vodafone at the time. And we had one driver, and this is where we started the whole business. And we started just with these very few people. And we inherited a network from Telecom Kenya, and we were about to take on Telecom Kenya staff that were going to be transferred from the Safaricom division, as it was then, or department, into Safaricom. So it was a very inauspicious start. I don't think any of us realized how big it was ever going to get. And so we all crammed in this office, and then we hired more people. In fact, my PA, Tabby, was our first hire. She came to the door, and we hired her, and then the office got more and more crowded. But that's where we started. And, it's a very inauspicious beginnings.
How many employees do you have today?
Now we have about 3,200 employees at the moment. Yeah. Okay. So we started with 5, we're now 3,200, nearly 10 years later.
Do you want another rap? Yes, sir. You want another rap? Yes, sir. You want another rap? Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. To introduce the President, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take my seat finally and hand over to the CEO of Rich Management, the man who made it possible to bring Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni in the house, Ali Khan Sachu.
It's a great pleasure and privilege to host His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, the President of the Republic of Uganda, at Mindspeak today.
Some countries in America, Europe, and Asia, some of the countries in Europe like Russia, some of the Asian countries like China and India, they are now in space, on the moon. They are looking at us here like insects. Just look. That space is common property for all of us. The moon is ours also. But we are not there. We're just here in Naivasha, Naikuru. We don't know what's going on there. If you want to kill them with insecticide, you just kill them, they will not even know it. we need to go to space there and ask, what are you doing here? This is our common property. This moon is also ours.
Our women are so entrepreneurial, what is the message you would give to these ladies who are really trying to strive, trying to look after a family, probably challenges that 2 generations ago your parents, your grandparents were experiencing? What are you saying to them?
Yeah, I would say the first and very important thing to do is to get organized.
Yes.
Your problem is not an individual problem. It's a problem that many more women encounter. Your opportunities are not only your individual opportunities. These are opportunities that all women share. So get organized, talk to other women, team up. The second thing I would say is, don't underestimate what you bring to the table. You have a lot to bring, and you also have different and new things to bring. So don't get discouraged if they want to discard you. The third thing is, I think all of us need to work very hard and very committed to empower, for example, women small-scale farmers. There's evidence that if women get access to the same resources, financial resources, production resources as men, then production increases tremendously.
Yeah.
It was really very nice to be here and to get in touch with different people than I get in touch with when I'm only at the boardrooms and the meeting rooms. So thank you very much for that opportunity.
Now, I'm particularly pleased to appear in front of you, and it's a rare privilege, actually, to appear before entrepreneurs. I generally hang out with prime ministers, presidents, ministers of finance, governors of central banks. And it can be incredibly boring. But it sure is repetitive, however necessary. But to be with you today is clearly to be with those that create wealth, to those who create jobs, to those who need predictability around their business, who invest in the future, who need to have a strategy, and who are actually vital for the growth of the country in which they operate.
I thank everyone who comes to our club. It really has taken off. It started years ago. I went to a conference in San Francisco that Guy Kawasaki was holding called Garage.com, and his famous phrase was, if you're going to poop, poop like an elephant. And I hope Mindspeak poop like an elephant. Thank you once again.